Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. I was not planning on doing a Sacred Union Energy Update today because we have the full moon in Scorpio Eclipse. It's a full moon eclipse. I've already done a couple of channelings on this energy today. If you check out my community tab or my Instagram or Facebook, the posts are up there. And because my cat has been taking over my workspace here on my desk, and it's too cute not to share, so I'm going to insert a photo here so you can check it out. It's really too funny. I think he likes all my crystals. I think it's a feel-good space for him too. But I wasn't planning on doing this, but I just I feel like both twins or both counterparts are really experiencing this energy, and I just want to see what's going on. So first I am going to recap what I had channeled about the full moon eclipse and my own experience with it. So you can skip ahead to the reading if you would like, but I do want to recap a little bit. So the first thing that I channeled this morning was a collective message. Not only is this the full moon in Scorpio, not only is it the eclipse, we are in the middle of Mercury Retrograde, and it is the same weekend as Friday the 13th. We just had the only Friday the 13th of the year. And Friday the 13th is actually a powerful portal day that is based around divine feminine energy. We think, or we grow up thinking, or conditioned to believe that Friday the 13th is bad luck or superstitious, but it's actually divine feminine energy. It's called the Day of the Goddess, and I didn't know that until very recently, so it's really, really interesting. So what is this full moon eclipse all about? It is about revealing all that is still unseen, bringing it all up to the surface. Especially with Scorpio energy, it is asking us to dive so deep within ourselves to really bring all that stuff that we might have been avoiding or denying or suppressing up to the surface to be revealed. I had channeled part of spiritual awakening is an expansion of the mind through the imagination. That is, to see beyond the limited perspectives we were taught and the restrictive conditions we believed, especially about ourselves. So this full moon is asking us, what subconscious beliefs are still holding you back from truly loving yourself and or connecting with others or the world? What patterns are keeping you entrapped in old versions of yourself or repeating old cycles? Especially with Mercury retrograde added to the mix, with this scorpionic energy, you're being asked to really dive deep, really deep within yourself so that you can reflect and review your life up until this point so that you can become aware, heal, and shift into your highest timeline. This is not the time to manifest in this energy, but what you're releasing now, because when you release, when you let go, you make room for more to come in. It's Kelly Ma energy that I'll discuss in a minute. You make room for more to come in. You're releasing old versions of yourself so that you can claim the new and higher version of yourself. So this is not the time to manifest. This is the time to release. And what you're releasing is going to make room for those manifestations then to come in, for your best and highest timeline then to be aligned to you. So, Kali Ma. We've been channeling Kali Ma for the past 6 months or so. She has been a very strong figure in my own personal life, in my own personal channelings. She is here with this full moon eclipse energy. It's this energy of the full moon, especially this eclipse energy, is infused with Kali Ma energy. However, there's a very loving, compassionate, and even gentle energy about her now. Rather than the destructive, just tower moment energy we might have been feeling in the past, this feels like a much more gentle energy. And what I'm hearing is because you're already feeling that intensity that she brings with the full moon Scorpio eclipse. So she's coming in to kind of temper that out. She's coming in because Kali Ma is the divine mother. She is the goddess of both destruction and creation. She is a very loving and compassionate energy, even though she is viewed as the dark feminine or the wild feminine. But she is so incredibly loving. She is so incredibly compassionate at the same time. She's very misunderstood. Her energy is very misunderstood. And so she's tempering the destructive nature or the destructive sense, the tower moments that this energy might be bringing, to bring forth more loving and compassionate energy to kind of soothe this energy. So while you might be feeling really intense emotions and experiencing tower moments in a sense, it's not going to be with the same like destructive energy that you might have felt. It's like your world is not going to so much turn 180 or upside down as it had in the past. This is just asking you to really release the resistance and bring to your awareness what needs to be released and surrender to that release. So, she is a guiding force through this next cycle. I was hearing that she will continue to be collectively guiding us through the rest of this year and even a little bit beyond into the next year, compassionately helping us to strip away lower density energies in order for us to create a higher frequency. This is occurring first individually, of course, because you change your world and you change your world, and then you change the world, and then it's going to ripple out collectively. So releasing the old might feel uncomfortable. So there might be this intense energy, there might be tower moments, and it might feel challenging, but call upon her for clarity and loving support. She will be there to kind of temper and soothe the energy a little bit. She doesn't let you get away with it, she's saying. She doesn't let you resist. She doesn't let you avoid. She is asking you to surrender, acknowledge, and face whatever it wants to be let go, whatever wants to come up. She doesn't let you get away with it, but she will be here to help bring you clarity, help bring you understanding, and soothe the challenges that come up with the emotions that are being felt. So call upon her for support. She will be there with compassionate and loving energy. Okay, so then just a little later this evening, I had channeled a little bit more about this energy and shared my personal experience of what I've been experiencing today. And so I had said the full moon in Scorpio is having us dive to the very depths of our emotions and ourselves. For some, it might feel like you're drowning in your emotions and struggling to come up for air. This is due to your resistance to feelings, which might be a pattern that played out over the course of your life that has looked like denial, suppression, detachment, disconnect, or numbing. And we have all been there in various times throughout our lives in various different ways. This full moon, with the cosmic support of a powerful eclipse, is asking you to surrender to yourself. By avoiding your feelings, you're blocking your very heart from expanding in the truth and fullness of who you are. And so then I shared my personal experience, and I shared that what I've been feeling today is, even though I've been feeling the intensity of the energy, there's also this groundedness, this sense of neutrality, and this sense of balance. Like I still feel really good, even though I'm feeling the intensity of the emotions that are coming up to the surface. Everything is serving as a trigger point, but it's not a trigger like, oh my gosh, I'm in my bed with my covers over my head. It's not that. It's a song that's playing, or a lyric, or a chord that I hear, or a quote in a book that I read, or seeing a picture or a memory that crops up. It's something quick that comes in and it brings up an emotion. And what's happening is it comes into my awareness and I allow myself to feel it in order to release it. Now for me, and it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but I'm noticing some common themes. For me, it's around mortality and legacy, which I've always had this, for lack of a better word, awareness of my mortality, and especially around legacy. I won't get into that in this video, but it's very interesting that that's cropping up again. I've also been experiencing grief and loss, especially when it comes to relationships and my dog. Those are two energies that are coming in for me. Relationships, especially with my counterpart, the ending that I've been experiencing with that, and the grief of losing my dog a couple of years ago. That's coming back around. And anger and resentment, however, that is much more mild, I feel like, because I had already been moving through so much of that the past several weeks, the past several months. So this energy is coming up, like especially when it comes to that grief and that loss, it's coming up, and I'm allowing myself to feel it, allowing myself to experience it, but I'm physically purging without the thoughts or the story. So I'm allowing myself to cry. What I did was I could feel it coming, I could feel it building. And so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to allow myself the space. I'm going to hold myself. This is my inner masculine. Hold myself, my inner feminine energy, which needs to feel this emotion, needs to feel this energy. My inner masculine is going to hold myself in that container where I feel safe, where I feel secure, where I feel like I am being held, so that my inner feminine can release the emotion that she needs to release. And so I sat in my bed and I just allowed myself to cry. And I just opened my mouth and let the tears pour. And there were very few, but there was like a silent wail that was rising up from the depths of my sacral chakra. I could feel the energy rising up and being like coming out through my mouth. It was like a silent wail, like a silent sob. It was absolute grief. But my mind was quiet. It was like my mind was just observing and allowing. There was no thoughts. There was no racing energy. There was no stories that were attached to this. It was just pure emotion that just needed to be released. And so my inner masculine was providing myself, my inner feminine, I should say, that safe space in order to feel that emotion and just release that emotion. And that's what the masculine does for the feminine. Provides that safety, that container for her to feel and express everything that she needs to feel and express, because that feminine energy is actually creative energy, but she needs to feel her emotions in order to create from them. And what was created from them, well, you have to release the old energy so that new energy can be reborn or transmuted or alchemized. And that's the creation energy. From the old energy, you alchemize into the new. And that's what the feminine energy does, especially as you release the emotions. And now you don't have to be a core feminine to do this. Even if you identify as a masculine or core masculine energy, this is your inner feminine that needs to feel the emotions, that needs to express itself. So what happened was I observed the emotion was rising from the depths. I observed its association of where it was coming from or what the trigger was. Oh, okay, this is me missing my dog or feeling the grief of that loss, or this is me that is still feeling the anger or the resentment of the burden of responsibility that was unfairly or unjustly put on me, or this was this or this was that, whatever it was. As soon as I allowed myself to acknowledge it and feel it and released it, I could feel the energy coming out of myself. I could feel the energy being transmuted. And as soon as I did that, there was a wave of peace that settled in because I let the energy step outside of myself. I wasn't containing it within my physical body anymore. It was no longer a part of me. That's what releasing, that's what purging is all about. If we're not allowing ourselves to do that, if we're not surrendering to that, we are just suppressing it and holding it in. And that's where it becomes that soul sludge. That's where it becomes heavy. That's where it becomes dense. And that's where it becomes that poison. So as soon as I surrender to the emotion without fear, I allow its release without attachment. So everybody's experience with this is going to differ a little bit. You know, everybody's trigger point or everybody's common theme or association is going to be a little bit different. But what remains is that this full moon eclipse is a powerful release gateway that will shift us into this new energy. This is the very heart of our ascension, releasing the old energy in order to claim the new. So what we're going to do now, I wanted to share all that to say exactly what are we experiencing. Everybody's experience is going to be a little bit different, but this is powerful release energy. And we have been in this transition period where we could feel the ending, feel the new beginning. That was Kali Ma coming in to help us destroy old parts of ourselves or shift old parts of ourselves out of our reality so that we could welcome in the new that are aligned to our new and higher frequency. That's the creation energy that she brings in. So what we're actually doing is we are moving into that new, but we're getting rid of all that old debris, all that residual energy, anything that is still dense within us in order to fully anchor in. And what I'm hearing is have space to anchor in the new and higher frequency. Don't resist it. Allow yourself to surrender to it. Allow yourself to express it. Whether it's journaling, whether it is what I did today. Even I just made a beautiful bath for myself with Epsom salts and scents and candles, and for 30 minutes I just allowed myself to sit in that water, that purifying energy, and allowed myself to feel whatever it was that I needed to feel. And then when I drained the water, you imagine all that energetic gunk going down the drain, being transmuted back into the earth. Allow yourself to do whatever ritual feels good to you, whatever ritual feels natural to you. It doesn't have to be like a ritual per se, but whatever feels good to you, to allow for the release. It could be journaling, it could be singing, it could be speaking with a partner, it could be doing a tarot reading, it could be for yourself, it could be, whatever it is that feels really good, meditation, whatever feels good for you. Just allow yourself, don't distract yourself, allow yourself to feel the emotion. And if it's uncomfortable, that is even more reason to do it, to get comfortable with your emotions, to get comfortable with your self-expression, because that's you getting comfortable with the feminine energy within you. Okay, so that being said, let's find out what's going on for these counterparts here. All right, let's get masculine and feminine energy, and let's get a union card as well. What is this full moon eclipse energy bringing in later this week? I'm still kind of on hiatus until June, but I'm hoping to pick back up on the regular reading, so stay tuned. I want to see what's going to be happening post this full moon eclipse, so we will have another Sacred Union energy update coming up this week. So make sure that you guys are subscribed, make sure that you're staying tuned, and also make sure that you're staying tuned to my social media platforms, whether that's the community posts here, but especially Instagram. That's where I post most of the updates and most of the bonus free collective channelings. I try to cross post across all of my social media platforms, but Instagram is my main one. So make sure that you are staying tuned for other updates and readings as well. Okay. Masculine, please. Give me a card for the masculine. How is this full moon eclipse affecting the divine masculine? How is this full moon eclipse affecting the divine masculine? Fruition. Interesting. How is this full moon eclipse affecting the divine feminine? How is this full moon eclipse affecting the divine feminine? Blossoming. Beautiful. And how is the full moon eclipse affecting the union energies? Wow. The masculine and the card of abundance. What I look at the bottom of the deck, we have realization. And we've been seeing this card a lot in the build up to this energy. I was going to say the past couple of months, but they're specifically saying the phrase, the build up to this energy. And what we had been channeling was, this is a portal. We have been walking through new doorways. We have been opening up new aspects of ourselves. And part of that has been shifting our patterns, recognizing our trauma, and allowing ourselves to heal what needs to be healed. So recognizing too that we are the ones, each and every one of us, who hold the key. So we hold the keys for ourselves, not for other people, but for ourselves. So I, as Susan, hold the key for my own ascension. You, as the viewer, hold the key for your ascension. We cannot control other people's paths. We hold the key for ourselves, but that actually opens up the doorway for the collective. It all is connected. We are all interconnected. So the more work you do on yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you connect to yourself and to higher power, God, source, creator, whatever it is that you want to call it, the more you connect to the energy of love, the more you're having positive impacts around those around you, with those around you. That is unity consciousness. Unity consciousness is not we are all the same. We are all made up of the same source energy, but we are also unique threads in that tapestry of creation. And so recognizing that we all have impacts on each other, the more that you are aware of yourself, the more you are able to walk your path in your sovereignty, in your self-actualization, in your self-empowerment, in your highest energy and embodiment of love, the more that has a positive ripple effect on those around you. And then that ripples out and ripples out and ripples out further into the entirety of the world and even the entirety of the universe. It's all part of the same tapestry. Okay, so what we have here is fruition and blossoming for the masculine and the feminine. And what I love about this is it's the same energy. Look at how beautiful this is. It's the same energy. You have this harvest here. You have these flowers harvesting here, really blossoming here. What's interesting about the masculine that is not present in the feminine is the masculine still has a little bit of a mask. However, it's not a full face mask. It's almost like the mask is coming down. They are learning to anchor in and embody this new energy of themselves. And what I'm getting is a real crown chakra opening where they are really acknowledging themselves, acknowledging connection to God's source in the universe, and even acknowledging connection with their counterpart. What I'm being called to is a couple of days ago, weeks ago, I can't remember now, I had posted something. I'm going to find it here. I posted something. It was a soul saying that I regularly post here on my channel, on my community post. It was the happiest you've ever been was the quote. And I had said, what would it take for you to believe in your own happiness? What would it take for you to believe so fully in life, the universe, that you don't doubt for a single second that you're deserving of the joy you feel? What would it take for you to believe that you could be the happiest you've ever been right here, right now, in this moment, and forever onward? What would it take? This is what we're doing on the ascension journey. We're clearing out the cobwebs of the conditioning, the thought patterns, the trauma, the programming that convinced you otherwise, that says you're not enough, you can never be, you're not allowed, there's going to be another shoe that drops, that it's going to turn around, that it's going to get worse. Give yourself permission right here, right now, to change that thought. Your ego might want to wait for that other shoe to drop with questions of what if? What if I'm hurt again? What if I'm heartbroken? What if I trust and the pain persists? What if I trust and I'm betrayed? This is what the ego does. It tries to predict based on old patterns and old versions of yourself and old experiences in order to protect. But when you're embodying the higher self and leading from the heart, no protection is necessary because it is all divine. So what if you let yourself be open to utter bliss? What if you embraced the fullness of love? What if you fill yourself up with joyful presence? What then? What if you allow yourself to be the happiest you've ever been? That was the message that I wrote and I had channeled. That is what the divine masculine is feeling. That is what they're opening up to. What if I just allowed myself to be happy? Long time ago, we had channeled that the masculine and the feminine are taking a leap of faith towards each other. Beginning to recognize that it's not a leap of faith, that it's not a risk. Because when the soul is in charge, nothing is at risk. You are just following the heart, and the heart is never wrong. Let me put it this way. There are no mistakes when you are trusting your soul path. Everything is for a purpose. Everything is for a reason. You might think that, meeting this person was a mistake or trusting this person was a mistake. But did you learn? Was there a lesson there? Did you grow from that experience? Then it's not a mistake. We have to start shifting our mindset, shifting our perspectives around the way we view this life experience. That's what ascension and spiritual awakening is all about. That's what the masculine is beginning to understand. Now, what I love about the divine feminine is she's anchoring this in, which is very interesting because it's what we've been channeling is it's almost like the roles are reversed here. She's anchoring this in, which is her masculine energy. This is the feminine energy being really open to connection, really having that understanding of the universe. It's because the masculine is really feeling into their feminine energy, learning how to express themselves, learning how to communicate, learning how to trust their intuition. Now, they might have thought that they were trusting their intuition, but they were letting their ego spiral them down, spiral them out into places of self-doubt. If they were truly trusting their intuition and balanced with their inner masculine, they would take action on what their heart is telling them, what their soul is guiding them to do, but they would let their ego kind of spiral them out of control into a place of doubt where they would then hold themselves back. What's happening here for the divine feminine is she is learning to trust her inner masculine, to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel grounded, to build that foundation for herself. And the more she does that, the more she's allowing her own inner feminine energy to flourish. So both counterparts are kind of experiencing the height of energy of the other. When I say the other, I mean if they're a core masculine, they're experiencing the height of energy of the feminine. If you're a core feminine, you're experiencing and healing the height of energy of the masculine. When I say the height of the energy, I mean really healing the other energy within yourself. And from this comes that inner union. What I love about this is you have the divine masculine rising. And again, remember, it's almost like the divine feminine's here too, but this is the masculine's time. This is the masculine's call to rise. This is the masculine's call to action, because he is actually the one who creates abundance. And yes, here is the feminine. Here's the feminine. She's almost in this place of waiting, but it's not waiting as in, oh God, where is he? She's waiting as in, I know he's coming. I know and I trust. I know and I believe. I know and I have faith. And I am just going to surround myself with beauty, surround myself with my own abundance, surround myself with love. She's not waiting on anybody. She's not waiting on any energy. She's just in her place. She is in her place, but she knows that the masculine is rising. So she's not waiting as in she's, holding herself back from anything. She's not waiting as in she is needing something. She's holding space for the masculine to rise and step forward. And when I'm saying step forward, I don't mean in a physical 3D partnership. It's going to play out like that eventually, but I mean in the energy of oneself. Could even be in the energy of partnership, but especially in the energy of oneself, especially for the divine masculine, I should say the outward divine masculine, who has been struggling with this. The outward divine masculine, if you have the feminine and the masculine, I'm going to point you guys to the recent collective message. Really powerful stuff coming through in those collective messages. I really encourage you guys to check those out. Don't miss those, because we dive a little bit deeper into these energies. So we have the physical 3D energy of the feminine embodied and the masculine embodied in a physical person. Then we have the higher energies, which is one merged soul in these counterpart connections. So the feminine, I feel, has really been in this place of union within herself and grounding her inner masculine and feeling safe with her inner masculine. The masculine, however, the masculine counterpart, the masculine embodied person, has been really stepping up and healing and growing and expanding. When we're talking about the masculine here, we're talking about that counterpart. She is holding space energetically and physically. He is stepping up, stepping into himself, growing and expanding. And I feel taking that necessary action. And eventually it will be towards each other. And if it's not towards each other, there will be divine feminines, another divine masculine energy that steps in to fulfill that role. We'll talk a little bit about that in other readings. I have talked about that in previous readings. That could be either a high-level soulmate connection, or for some of you, there were, I don't like to use the word false twin flames, but another divine masculine energy, we'll call it that. Because I don't believe in false twin flames. For example, I know without a doubt that my own counterpart is my divine masculine. He is my twin flame. But we are going our separate ways for now. We are kind of in this separate journey, individualized journey, I should say. This, I don't know, I still am skeptical about all this that I'm channeling, even though, I'm channeling it. I have to believe it, right? But my own journey looks very far from this energy. Even though I'm feeling this, it's very strange. That's my ego that's stepping in. That's my ego that I'm probably needing to release with this full moon, right? But what's happening is, even if it feels individual, there's so much unconditional love for my twin for my divine masculine, but if he's not wanting to step forward, that's his choice, and there's a purpose for it. There's a divine purpose for it, but there will be other energies that step in. There will be other energies for him that step in too, as feminine energies, because we learn together. And if we choose not to learn together or grow together in this lifetime, I shouldn't say in this lifetime, but in this cycle or this phase, then there will be others who step in for us to grow from. He will have other feminine energies, not his divine feminine, but he will have other feminine energies with it, which he can learn from. I will have other masculine energies, not my divine masculine, but other masculine energies, conscious masculine energies, which I will learn from or grow with, or whatever it is, create with, whatever it is. That is, for a purpose. I will talk about that in the workshop that will be announced very soon. The date will be announced very soon. I'm hoping to do that in June. And we'll talk about that in some upcoming readings. I've already talked about that in some previous channeling, so you can check out those older energies, or not older energies. My readings are timeless, but older readings. So that being said, the masculine is stepping up. The masculine is stepping into themselves, and the masculine is taking action here. And what it's bringing in is abundance. And the masculine energy actually brings forth so much abundance. The masculine energy carries a lot of abundance codes. They don't recognize that because they were so much in their energy of lack. They were so much in the energy of scarcity, but they're beginning to recognize that they carry a lot of abundance codes, just like the divine feminine does. And when you bring those two together, it is magic. It is pure magic that the two create. We've been channeling that since the very beginning. All right. Let's see what else is going on with this connection. I want to get 3 cards for the connection itself. Let me get a couple of shuffles, please. A couple shuffles. All right, 3 cards for the connection, please. 3 cards for the connection. What's going on with this connection? What's going on with this connection? Current energies of this connection. The Sun, masculine energy. 2 of Cups. My own ego wants to be so skeptical, but that's the thing. There's so much that is aligning that we can't yet see in the physical or how it aligns. That's where we just have to trust the next step. Not see too far ahead, not try to plan, not try to have expectation. Just be in our own energy, walking our own path, and just allowing yourselves to trust the universe. That's especially for the divine feminine. Okay, so the Sun, 2 of Cups, and the 8 of Wands, which is travel, also communication. Take it as as it resonates for you. Actually, let's get another card for the 8 of Wands, please. Another card for the 8 of Wands. And one more. 10 of Swords came out. And the Emperor. Okay. There is the ending of the old. And what I'm feeling is this is fast movement towards the ending of the old. And when I mean the old, I mean the old version of the masculine. The control, the manipulation, the force, the distortion, the old version of that masculine who just distorted power. This is the new divine masculine. This is the conscious, sacred masculine who recognizes that it's King Arthur energy. I don't know how else to explain it. It's King Arthur energy, who knows what it takes to lead, who knows what it takes to be in that place of authority. King Arthur, oh my gosh. King Arthur is the energy of the sacred masculine, the conscious masculine. He embodied that Christ consciousness. He embodied It's empowerment. But again, not from a place of force. The best analogy that I know to say is King Arthur was the man who not just dictated and didn't control, but he rode out with his men into battle. He showed up. He took action. He communicated what he needed, expressed himself in a fair, balanced way. He allowed himself to feel his emotions. He also allowed himself to be that practical, logical mindset when it was called for, but he never lacked compassion. He never lacked empathy, or I should say he never suppressed his compassion, his love, or his empathy. He showed up as himself. This is divine authority. This is divine embodiment. This is authenticity. This is the sacred masculine. And so what's coming to an end is, and this Eight of Wands really feels like a tower moment. Like it's like, oh, that old distorted masculine template is really crumbling. It's crumbling quickly. It is coming to an end. That old paradigm is coming to an end. There is transformation that is here. And what's happening is because the masculine is starting to believe in their own happiness, starting to believe in their own worth, starting to believe in their own sacred embodiment. Now, that is not to say that they are, being in their ego, that spiritual ego of, I am God and I control everything. No, they're beginning to understand that I am divine as all others are divine. And I am one with all, while still being myself. Embodying love within myself, embodying the true soul of myself, which might look unique to every other person. But that's where I embody my true self. That's where I share my heart and show my love. That's where I allow myself to be. That's where I share my love. This is a divine connection. It is a sacred connection. And both counterparts are recognizing this and conscious of this now. I feel like the masculine wants to step forward and acknowledge this. Might not have the words that we divine feminines use on this journey for it, might not have that complete conscious awareness or that higher level perspective of it, but they are aware of it on a soul level. And they want to share with you. They have their own cup to offer now that they didn't have in the past. And as we've been channeling from the beginning, it's that Three of Cups energy. It's the two cups that pour into a third chalice that you might not be able to see yet. That's what you might not be able to see, how it's all coming to union, how you already are in union. It just might not look like it in the 3D. That's the illusion that you're tearing down, the illusion of separation. That's that third cup. It's the two cups when you both have full cups. Not because you took from another, but because you filled that up yourself with your own growth, your own expansion, your own connection, your own love. Then you have that to offer with another. And you pour it into that third cup, which is that Trinity energy with God's source. And it's just so full of love. And what happens when you have water and water mixing with water? It's just enhanced water. Like it's not different ingredients that create separation within that cup. It is merged. You can't see individual drops in an ocean. It's just the ocean. But you know that there are individual drops that make up that ocean, but it's just the ocean in its fullness. That's what this energy is. That's what this love is. Fullness, expansion, magic, sacred, sanctity. You might not be able to see how this is coming together in your physical experience or what that means for you. That's where you keep just being your blossoming, beautiful self on your sacred path. Just keep growing, just keep expanding, just keep being the joy and the love that you are. Because that's what you align to. You align to more joy and more happiness. That is the truth of the universe. It's not pain, it's not suffering, it's not struggle. We might have experienced that for centuries, but that is what our ascension is about. That is what we are releasing. Okay, I'm going to end here. I know you guys probably want me to keep going, but this felt powerful in and of itself, and I don't want it to get convoluted. So we are going to follow up with a post full moon eclipse reading later on this week. I am sending you in the meantime so much love, so much light, and we'll see you then. Bye.